Hi there! It is time to plant some onions. It is around March 20th here in Central Ohio. It's a beautifully sunny day. Yes, we are still going to have some colder days. Yes, we're not really to real spring yet. People from the Midwest know what I'm talking about. But onions don't mind being cold. So we're going to go ahead and plant them. Let me show you what we've got going. All right, so I have basically, this is my small garden, and I have kind of zhuzhed up the soil, just kind of loosened things up, made sure there weren't any weeds from over the winter, finished clearing out some carrots that I had planted in the fall, and I've made myself just 3 trench lines by dragging my finger through the soil. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking my onions that I started from seed. These are a Patterson variety, which is a yellow onion that stores really well. And what you do is you take them out of this little cell pack, and basically you just lift them up like this. You can see all those nice roots. They basically grow straight down. Yes, you can start lots and lots of onions together because their roots come apart super easy. So it's very space saving. You can literally have dozens and dozens of onions started in one little 6-pack. I do use the ones that are a little deeper though to give them plenty of space for those roots to develop. And you can see that we've got some nice little baby bulbs here. And so when you plant, one of the things with onions that's super important, and you can also see here how they just come right apart, still have lots and lots of roots on them. You want to plant them so that all of these roots are underground and just this very teeny bit of the bulb. You do not want to bury them deep, because what's going to happen is later on in the summer, when we get enough daylight hours, this bulb is going to be triggered to turn into an onion bulb. I want big onions. So I want to make sure that this is close enough to the surface that as it turns into a big onion bulb, it's going to be able to push up out of the ground. So if you bury your onions too deep, you'll get nice, lovely green growth, but you won't get much of an onion because it's having too hard of a time pushing up out of the soil. So that's one thing. The other thing you need to know about onions, let's finish planting. So then we take this over here, and you want to space them 4 to 6 inches apart. So I'm just literally jamming my finger down in the soil so that those roots have a place to go. Getting those roots in there, and then tucking soil around, making sure that I don't, like I said, bury it too deep, so that bulb will be able to push up out when it's time. Now, speaking of time, I live in a part of the country that has short winter days and long summer days. So because of that, I pick varieties, Patterson is one of them, that are what we call long day onions. So you want onions that are fit for your, what's called latitude, your spot in wherever you live compared to the rest of the world. If you live, for example, somewhere in the southern United States, then you're going to want to look for varieties that are called short day. And the reason is onions are triggered to start that bulbing up phase by sunlight. And so long day onions are triggered by a longer day. I think it's like around 14 hours. So I need onions that are going to be triggered around that 14-hour type of sunlight hours that I get in my summer. People who live in the South don't get that much sun, that many hours of sun in the summer. So people who live in the South need to look for what are called short day onions that are going to start bulbing with only 12 hours of sunlight, which is more what southern United States places get. If you live somewhere kind of in between, then you might want to look for something called intermediate day onions, which are not quite as dependent on the amount of sun. That part I don't really understand as well, the intermediate, because honestly, once I learned about short day, long day, and learned that I need to look for long day onions, that's as far as my research went. So depending on where you live, if you live somewhere in the northern United States, like I do, I'm in Ohio, then long day is what you want. If you live somewhere south where you have shorter summer days, you want short day. Anything else, please do your research. Google is very much your friend. So I'm going to keep planting these. Thank you for joining me here today at Aunt Susan's garden, spring onion planting. Sorry, well, they're not spring onions, although I'm also doing some of those, but you're doing the same way. Thanks for joining me here at Aunt Susan's garden.